What's going on, everybody? Jeff here from Hayfro Sales, and we're going to look at some paltry sales that we have today. I don't often get to use the word paltry, but that's what it is. In fact, on my store, I went 40 hours without a sale. I did sell, there's actually 2 cards in here, and they're 2 separate sales. So he made an offer for 4.5 for this one, and then this one he made an offer for, what was it, 8. So I let him know he could do I could do free shipping on anything else added, and he went ahead and added another one. So, you know, turning a 4.5 into a $12.5 sale, much better. Which brings me to my first topic that I want to talk about is the new, and I don't exactly know what it looks like on the buyer's end. Like, cause I don't buy a whole lot of things, although I did just buy that shot glass, which I wanted to share with you guys something. When I went to buy it, and I don't know how I got any kind of credits or anything, I had like $46 in credits, so it literally didn't even cost me anything. So I just found it interesting how the whole, you know, me buying it, me going through with that intention of buying and replacing that shot glass that got lost when the guy, he doesn't even know it's coming. That good intention that I had, it was almost immediately given back to me because I only had to pay for the shipping and handling. So I thought that was awesome. So I did just buy something on eBay, first time in years, to be honest with you. But I have read that eBay is trying to implement some changes in the way, I guess, let me just say, they're trying to implement changes to combat non-paying buyers. And that's a good thing for sellers, but the changes that, if I'm understanding it correctly, that they're making is probably not in the right way to do it either. So, to my understanding, and I would appreciate any kind of feedback or any kind of contribution to this discussion, I guess we can call it, that we have in the comment section, is eBay is requiring certain information from the buyers before they place a bid on an auction and before they make an offer on certain things. I don't quite understand, but that seems to be what's happening. And I think there's a little bit of resistance from the buyer's side about entering that information in. The only thing that I can contribute from my own personal experience is somebody bought something from my one store and I offered him free shipping on those similar kinds, like I think it was a book, and I'm like, if you want to add any other books, you could do free shipping. And I think he went to make an offer, and then it was like, because he messaged me and he's like, it's requiring me to enter some information and I don't want to do that, because I'm thinking he was thinking he doesn't want to be on the hook for paying the item and the shipping. Like, from you and I's perspective, who are sellers, we know that we're just going to refund the guy. But he doesn't know us from Adam, right? He doesn't know that we're going to do that. In fact, part of this whole new system is kind of screwing with my system in terms of sending invoices, because sometimes somebody will buy something and it won't give me the option to send the invoice. And when I send that invoice, I can adjust the shipping and handling. So it's causing me to have another extra step of being like, oh, eBay has changed, I'll just go ahead and refund the shipping. So while I appreciate eBay's intention in trying to beta test and figure out a way to combat non-paying buyers, there's a really simple, easy solution that I think eBay is missing here. And because I see the seller side and I actually see the buyer side of I don't like putting my payment in, you know, if I'm necessarily not going to buy something. Because if you're signing up, if you're watching an auction, you don't know if you're going to win, and you might not want even though if you're an active buyer, your information is already on account with eBay. I don't know. The easy solution, and the solution to me that makes too much sense, is set up the same internal account strike system for buyers as you do with sellers. Like, you know, we sell something, we don't have it in stock, we get a little strike, we get a little demerit, we're sent to the corner. You know, we cancel an order for whatever reason, if it's our mistake, or I'm drawing a blank on what the other things that we can get checks on our accounts for. Just basically do that for buyers. You know, do that with a severe, you know, give them 2 or 3 non-payment. You know, it can't just be one, because, you know, what if you bid on something and then you go in the hospital for a week? Like, it's got to be something reasonable, something that, like, buyers will stop doing that. Like, they don't need to be told if they're gonna potentially lose their eBay account. So instead of making changes site-wide for every buyer, just punish the ones who are paymenters. I don't know, they people who don't pay. Like, that just makes too much sense. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. What are you finding? Are you, as a seller, are you loving this change? Because it does seem like payments are coming through quicker. But to be honest with you, I've never really had a massive issue with non-paying buyers. And maybe it's because I have so many listings that if somebody doesn't pay, it's not really that big of a deal. I just cancel it, relist it, you know. But if you only have a couple hundred items and you're tying up 1 or 2, I can see how that's a problem as well. Like, I'm trying to look at it from all perspectives. I feel like what eBay does is they only look at it from one side, and normally it's the buyer's side. Like, they try to fix a problem and they cater to the buyers and not think about how this affects the sellers. And in this case, I think they're doing the complete opposite. So they're only looking at it from the seller side, and they're not looking at it from the buyer's perspective. And I actually see both. So let me know what you guys think. Yesterday I got an offer for $3 for this free Nambia Pin, and I accepted it. I'm just like, you know what, not that big of a deal. And then they ended up adding this one for $8. So, you know, turning a $3 order into an $11 order. Easy packaging, like buttons, patches, pins. Those things are so easy. I just love selling those things. Sold 2 more of these 4 vintage leather keychains. These sold for, both of these, for $27. The guy made an offer. Funny story. So I have a blue one, a green one, and a beige one available on a multi-item listing. So, you know, when the buyer, this is going to be a good segue into my next topic. When the buyer places the order, I have on the information, this is for, the price is for 1. Let me know at the time of the checkout which one you would like, you know, identify which color. So the guy makes me an offer, again, a blue one, a green one, and a beige one. And he goes, "Hi, I would like 2 green ones, please." I mean, I can't make this up, really. I mean, this is like only a fellow eBay reseller can truly appreciate that joke. And it's not even a joke, it's reality. So I message him back, I'm like, "Hey, I only have 1 of each color. Do you want me to cancel or reject the offer, and then you can resubmit 1? And then he messages me back and he's like, "I'll take a green and a blue one." So I'm like, okay. So yesterday there was some discussion on the channel in the comment section talking about listings that are set up like this. Listings that are set up where it's 3 different items, and it's, so I've seen listings where there's like a little check thing in a drop down box, and then you can select. So you would be able to select red, and then you would be able to select green, and then so you know exactly which ones you're getting. Or you can set it up the way I set it up, where you just set it up like a normal listing, you state the quantity, and you state that the price is per item. State at the time which item you would like, which color you would like in this particular instance. So somebody had commented that this was against eBay policy, setting up a listing like this. Now, I didn't really understand why. I did ask him to maybe elaborate a little bit more as to why he thinks that this is the case, and he had heard that people have actually, this seems a bit extreme, but people have actually had their accounts banned for this. So that freaked me out. I get on the horn with eBay. I go through the exact scenario. I show them a listing. There's no issues with it. And I actually called. So I spoke with this one woman. I was literally on the phone for like 50 minutes trying to get, just every aspect of the listing. Is there anything wrong with it? Does this violate any kind of eBay policy? And she said, as long as you have, it's clearly stated in the listing that this is, the price is for one, because like I sell patches, I sell multi-quantity patch orders. So one listing will have like 5 different patches. So let's say it's 5 different state patches. So it would be like, prices per patch, state at the time, which state you would be interested in. You have a listing quantity 5, and as long as you state everything in the description, you're golden. And I got the reference number to protect myself, and I literally called in a second time to confirm the first confirmation, because sadly this is what you have to do with eBay, because there's so many, we're told so many different things that one customer service rep will tell us one thing and then another. So it's actually better to get multiple points of confirmation, multiple reference numbers for the call. It is not violating anything. So if anybody has any more information that they want to add to that dialogue, I would be greatly appreciative, because so as I'm going through this scenario, I'm talking to the lady, and she's explaining to me that there is a way that you can set the listing up. What's with a variation is what it's called. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so how about this? How about I just leave my current listings as they are? Because I probably have a couple hundred set up like this. And how about going forward, I'll learn how to do the variation way. She's like, yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea. And so I'm like, can you walk me through how to do it? So you can't sell similar on an item. You actually, for one, have to start a fresh, brand new listing, which is a pain in the butt, to be honest with you. And we went through the process, and it's a bit of a nightmare to figure out how to use these variations. And we go through it. She's showing me, and then I'm just getting error after error after error. She's like, we're actually having problems with these variation orders right now. There's a ticket in. I go, okay, so let me just, so I say to her, I'm like, let me just recap. One, I called in to see if there's anything wrong with the way I'm listing these multi-quantity listings. You confirmed that it's completely complicit with eBay's policy. Correct. She's like, yes. I go, and in the meantime, I had discussed the possibility of leaving my current listings as they are, since they don't violate any eBay policy, and then going forward creating new, using the variation listing tool for future listings that I do. And she's like, yes. And when we tried to do that, and you tried to show me how to do it, A, it was not as easy as it sounds, and B, I couldn't do it even if I wanted to, because your system's not working. Is that correct and accurate? She's like, yes. And then she laughed, because she sees the humor in all of this, but it's not really funny either. Like, have any of you guys used the variation feature when creating a listing, when you're selling multiples of, like, say, I have a self-help CD listing that has like 20 different variations of these mind, mantra, hypnotic thing. So, you know, I created one listing and I have them all there, and then I have the quantity. But yeah, it would have been, it is a little more clear if you're able to use the variation tool drop down. But have any of you guys actually used that? And is it from, I don't know if it was the way she was explaining it. I just wasn't getting it. Like, and I do consider myself a fairly smart guy. I'm able to kind of pick things up, but it was not computing for me. All right. So the Fords, 2 sold. And the only sale that I've had in 40 hours on my store is this Terminator Omnibus. This sold for $54. It's brand new, sealed. I talked about comics yesterday. Don't sleep on graphic novels. So this is a graphic novel. It's just a collection of comics, usually. The graphic novel market is surprisingly strong, especially for certain ones that are out of print. So, you know, if you're ever out at flea markets or garage sales and you see these thick, you know, books, they're normally much thicker than that. Well, some are not as thick. Some of them are worth some money. And I think it just speaks to that more people are wanting to read the collected versions versus maybe collect. Because the comic market in general, I would say, is pretty depressed right now. Like, I do it because I have a lot already. But it's definitely a very nuanced market. So anyhow, let's see. We've had some discussion on the channel about, you know, the algorithm, Cassini, things that we can do, you know, things that make your store considered active in their eyes, and it helps you, supposedly, you know, brings you more traffic, promote your items more. Something that I had never considered is the buying aspect. If you buy items, do you guys, in your experience, do you find that helps bring you more sales? I have no experience. I literally, the one thing that I bought the other day, I haven't seen any bump in that. In fact, I'm just trying to think of which store I bought it from. Yeah, the store that I bought it from was the store that just had a 40-hour drought. So in my experience, I would say no. But, okay, so 2 more things I wanted to share. I've talked about these German books that I've gotten for free. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. It's really dry. It's really hot here. I just thought one of the aspects to reselling that I love is just like, especially as an anything seller, is kind of like doing research on certain items and just like, you know, the history aspect of it. I thought this was super cool. You guys remember the story, the movie, The Never Ending Story in the 80s? Like, to me, this is like one of my favorite childhood movies. So I found this book that I have so many books that just to get through, but you know, I can only do so many German books on my store at a time. Like I normally do 1 or 2 every few days because I don't want to flood it with German books. That just doesn't make sense because they're not really big sellers. But this is interesting. So I saw this book. It's kind of beautiful the way it's inside and the pictures, and I'm like, okay, this looks like something that's interesting. So I used Google Lens to kind of and Google Translate. Oh man, I get to cut this video short after this. So, The Never Ending Story was written by this guy Michael Ende, and he's German. And it was originally published, I believe, in 1978, but then was translated by an American author and, you know, re-released or maybe just a translated version in 1983. And then it was you know, made into the movie that we all know, or that those of us who were young enough or who are old enough now can remember. But yeah, this is the original, and I believe this is the first edition too as well, which I think is super cool. So while I think this has appeal to collectors in general of the Neverending Story, who would want to have, you know, even though they don't probably doubt they speak German, who might want the first edition and that was done in 1978. So I just thought this was super cool. Like, I didn't know that it was originally written by some German dude. I didn't know it was originally, you know, written from the perspective of somebody who was German. And I wonder if going back and watching it, if you would even know that. So I'm going to end this video. I have another story to tell, but it's not time sensitive. My throat's really bothering me, guys. You know what to do. If you're still here, feed that YouTube algo. Peace and blessings, guys. Take care.